The athletic ability of JARON Ennis will dethrone Errol Spence and Bud Crawford. Alright, y'all, so what is it about JARON Boots Ennis that everyone is so up in arms about? What skill sets does he bring to the table? What athletic ability does he possess to take down the top two welterweights of today, Errol the Truth Spence Jr. and Terence Bud Crawford? Well, if you compare him to Errol Spence, I think the one attribute that he has that Errol Spence also has that Terence Crawford really doesn't have, or people don't talk about, is punching power. You know, everybody says that Errol Spence is a bone-breaking puncher, and when you talk about Boots, I don't think Boots has been past the 6th round with any of his opponents yet. So you have to say that the man has punching power. So if you compared one attribute that he has versus Errol Spence Jr., that could be an equivalent of something that Errol Spence Jr. does, it would be punching power. And the same thing for Terence Crawford. Does he have one ability that Terence Crawford has that Terence Crawford does well, but he also does well? Yes, he does, which would be switch hitting. He's a switching fighter. He can go from orthodox to southpaw and work both of them very well and use power from both sides. Now, the only difference between those two things, like the power that he and Errol Spence share and then the switching that he and Terence Crawford share, is that Terence Crawford really doesn't have any power. Nobody really talks about Terence Crawford's ability to land the most solid punch out there, or really just stop his opponent in his tracks. So if Boots had a one-up on anybody, I think it would be Terence Crawford, to where I think if him and Errol Spence was to get it on, it would be a little bit more of a chess match because of the power dynamic. Neither one of those guys would want to get knocked out early or get damaged or hurt early. So I think you would see more of kind of like fill-out rounds in the beginning of the fight, just to test each other, see what each other's bringing to the table, how hard each other punches before they really started opening up. Now, is there anything else that Boots does that just really makes him a dynamic fighter and that will have him on the top of the welterweight division? And I would have to say that he puts it all together very well. There's not too many fighters out there today that can say that none of their opponents have taken them past the 6th round. So, I mean, he does what he does very well. Now, everyone's going to say, well, Boots hasn't faced up with the best competition. Boots don't fight the best competition. Well, Boots can only fight who's available to be fought. He can't make people fight him. You know, it's the same thing that's going on with this Manny Pacquiao situation, with him wanting to make his comeback. You know, he can only fight if people want to fight him. He could be the best fighter in the world and have the biggest fan bases that people can tap into, but if those guys don't want to face up with you, you're not going to get the fight. So I think it's in Boots' best interest to just keep doing what you're doing, man. If those guys don't want to fight you right now, go get the fights that can be made, you know, and keep making your name. People see what you're doing. It's only a matter of time before it's all going to explode in your favor, as long as you keep winning. Now, could Boots survive a loss? Could his career survive a loss? I don't think anybody's boxing career at this point could survive a loss, because as soon as you lose, because of that Mayweather effect, everybody's going to say that, you know, you're not the same fighter, you lost something, shouldn't have been in the ring with this guy, especially if it's against a fighter that most fans support. You know, you're going to catch a lot of flack and get a lot of hate for taking a loss. But I do think he's young enough to where if he took a close loss and then came back with a strong victory, I think fans would give him a second chance. He has Philadelphia behind him. He has, you know, that's a big metropolitan area, so it's not like, you know, if he lost once that all his fans are just going to throw him away. I don't think it's like that. But I do believe that if he lost, it wouldn't have the same, his name wouldn't carry the same weight as it is right now. As far as him taking down Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr., why do I believe he will be the one to dethrone the two kings. And I'm going to say it like this. There's two paths that could be taken here. Either they're going to give Boots a shot, or they're going to fight each other. The winner's going to disappear to 154, and Boots will probably get fed the loser. Now, I would rather see him fight those two guys as champions, you know, without a loss. But because of everything that's going on between the Errol Spence and Terence Crawford fight, and it's becoming so hard to be made, I'm not sure if he's going to get that opportunity. So he'll more than likely take down the winner of the Undisputed fight, or he'll get the leftovers that the winner of the Undisputed fight leaves behind after he disappears to 154, because I don't think the winner's sticking around at all. So in a way, he won't be taking down both of these guys. You know, they'll take each other down, or one will take down the other, and he'll just get the leftovers, which, you know, that's not bad. You know, one out of the two is not bad. Now, it's going to depend on who he gets. Does he get Bud, or does he get Spence? You know, it's going to depend on how that Undisputed fight turns out. But I think at the end of the day, the future of welterweight boxing is Boots Ennis. Now, I think in the meantime, he needs to get that Thurman fight. He needs to find a way to secure that Keith Thurman fight, because Keith Thurman is his ticket to new popularity. I think Keith Thurman's still just enough, he has just enough popularity to make Boots famous if Boots was to beat him within 6 rounds. And in the meantime, you know, I think Boots is about to fight, he has a fight coming up. I can't remember who his opponent is, but he does have a fight he's trying to line up. I think he's got a mandatory situation that's going on with a title eliminator. So he does have a fight coming up, so I don't know where Keith Thurman fits in. You know, we still haven't got the Spence Crawford fight, so he has time to make all this stuff happen, but he has to do it quick. You know, you don't want to be in the midst of a negotiation with somebody else, and then a Spence Crawford opportunity comes across your table and you can't take it because you have another situation on the table. So it behooves Boots to work quickly, man. Make the proper decisions. I know he doesn't like having a promoter. He's now working with Showtime and Espinoza. So, you know, they're going to have his best interests at heart. They're going to put him in some good situations, going to get him in front of a new crowd. Hopefully he'll get his, I don't think he's had a pay-per-view fight yet. So that's going to be his first challenge, figuring out what he can do as far as the pay-per-view numbers. Because if he can sell pay-per-views, and that's why I think that Keith Thurman fight is important. This whole title eliminator thing, to try to find out where the mandatory situations stand, you know, that's decent, but Keith Thurman could get him on pay-per-view. And if he can do some numbers versus Keith Thurman on pay-per-view, then we all know he can do numbers versus Spence and Crawford. And eventually, hopefully, take one of those two kings of the welterweight division down. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that in the comment section below. It's your boy, Cardinal, Bud, Crawford, or E.S. Red, if that's what you want to call me. Holler at me down in the comment section. Hit me up on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You're more than likely to get a response on the tube, so holler at me over there if you want a response. We are in Louisville, Kentucky, and we are Manny.
I ain't even got to do too much talking, because I know what's going to happen come Saturday.
Yeah. Is you ready for me? 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 Nigga. Spotless. Check it.